when they go low, going high is not enough.
So people, what do you think she's on about? Do you think she's on about rock climbing? Do you think she's on about singing? Do you think she's on about anything to do with heights or levels? Well, sort of about levels. It's really about if they take the low road, or if they go through a really low point, i.e. Nazis, fascists, people who are politically opposed to you and vice versa. If they go low, going high isn't always the best thing to do. Sometimes you just have to stoop to their level. Yeah, we're taking a look at a Guardian video. This was brought to me by a fan. And, well, let's check this out, shall we?
Let's get this straight. In principle, it's never okay to hit anyone, Nazi or otherwise.
In principle, it's never okay to hit anybody, Nazi or otherwise, but when... Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I mean, this sounds a bit like I'm not racist, but I'm not sexist, but hey, you're a woman of colour, I'm a man of colour, so technically, when we say that, that's the truth, right? It's completely different to the white person says it. And so, in theory, we're going down this road, right? This is where we're going.
But when Richard Spencer was punched while giving an interview in the street, it was a cathartic moment for many.
Hang on, how was that cathartic? It could be considered funny. I thought it was pretty funny from a rather crass standpoint, but from a logical point of view, it wasn't. This sets a precedent in many ways. What I don't understand is, how could punching an edgelord white nationalist nobody be considered cathartic? This guy was a nobody until recent years. This guy had no real influence. He still pretty much has no real influence. And yet you people are giving him this platform he doesn't actually have. You're making him have this reputation he doesn't really have, this power he doesn't actually have. And before you know it, he's actually going to have all of that. And you'll blame us, the shitlords, and you'll blame his supporters and everybody else who isn't like you for making him this big white nationalist who's really popular. When really it was you. It was you. Because you are ballooning his popularity by A, basically saying that punching him is okay, and 2, making him out to be the worst thing since Hitler, which he actually isn't. He's, again, just an edgelord white nationalist with stupid beliefs. And that's how he should be treated. That's how he was treated. Until you people discovered him.
A lot of us find ourselves at a loss for how to respond as frightening and dangerous views are suddenly not only being aired, but mainstreamed.
Wow, incredible. From The Guardian, this is Sargon's Law in effect, people. Yeah, you are the mainstream. Your views are the mainstream. You lot tried to push against Trump, who actually wasn't the mainstream. He was actually the outlier, the outside point of view, or at least the point of view that has been silenced for many years and only has come about because he aired it to the world. The real dangerous ideas here come from your side, the social justice warriors, the feminists, the progressives. You're the people who are saying it's okay to punch people if you disagree with them, or if you think they are a certain way, even if they aren't, because they must be horrible people, because they're Nazis, or they think in a completely different way to you. And you also espouse this anti-male, anti-white, even anti-POC if they don't agree with you mantra, and yet you're saying that Trump has the dangerous ideas and he's mainstream. He's about to become mainstream now that he's the president. But that's going to take years for his kind of thought to basically become mainstream. You, on the other hand, you're already entrenched. And you can't even see it, but hey.
Unable to adjust, we continue to engage with these views like they were just a new school of controversy.
They're just ideas, love. They're not actually going to harm people unless somebody acts on those ideas. And so far, the only people that I can actually see who are acting on their ideas and causing actual harm to people are not Trump supporters. They're not liberals, as in liberals who are not regressives. They're progressives. They're the people who were firebombing the streets because Milo was talking there. The people who pepper sprayed a girl because she was talking to the press. These are the people who caused riots with BLM, who joined the Black Bloc and then caused stupid internet drama. I don't really see people like Richard Spencer doing that at the moment. That happened in the past. it could well happen again. But that would be because of your violent actions and not theirs.
The world had changed, but we hadn't caught up.
What does that even mean? The world hasn't actually changed. It is probably in the process of changing, but you already changed the world to suit your image, or at least have tried to do so. You've already succeeded in making millions of college students and pretty much the whole mainstream media, aside from those that veer to the right, to support your ideology. That's pretty world changing, isn't it? And let's not forget all the things that have happened because of that. But hey, whatever, the world is changing and you've not caught up somehow. Okay?
That punch, it caught us up.
Are you saying that Richard Spencer and his ilk are violent and you simply caught up to their antics? All these people do, at least as far as I know, they're not actually skinheads. They're not the type of white nationalists that go out there and cause trouble in the streets. They're internet shitposters. If that's violent, I don't know what you're catching up to. You've actually not caught up. You've gone ahead of the curve. Congratulations.
When they go low, we go high,
said Michelle Obama.
Yeah, and you know why she said that? Because you can't stoop to somebody's level. You cannot stoop to their low level. You must remain high. You must be the better person. You must stand firm in your convictions. It's basically what Martin Luther King did. Do you remember that? Well, none of us remember that. We weren't born. But do you remember what he did? Have you read about what he did? While the South stooped low, the lowest that they could possibly go, he remained high and brought about change. That's the point of what she was saying. But you're trying to change that completely and say, no, we must stoop to their level. We must get violent, even though you are that level anyway.
Amid the rising ugliness of Trump's campaign. Well, going high doesn't always work.
Oh really now? The high doesn't always work? Well, how come we live in the world that we currently do? Because what do you want to do? Do you want violent retribution on people who have different ideas to you? Is this what you're saying? Or do you want to become internet shitposters? I'm actually getting a little bit confused here.
Some positions simply cannot be entertained, let alone argued against.
Hell no, they should be censored because we don't like them and we're scared of what they have to say because they might reveal some uncomfortable truths about the world. Or you're so incredibly scared of the most stupid, most completely batshit, easily refutable white nationalist in the world because you yourselves are too stupid to actually refute what he has to say, that you have to resort to violence, that you cannot entertain or debate him. This is how low you guys have gotten. This is how stupid you are. You can't even refute a white nationalist.
There is this fallacy on the left around reasoned debate. Don't assault and boycott racists and misogynists. Debate with them.
Well, you've heard it here first, people. Reasoned debate is a fallacy. Even though that's not a fallacy, she's not actually told us what the fallacy actually is. What she's described here is simply a thought. It is a way of thought in that you do not censor people, you do not fight people, you do not boycott them, you debate them and show their ideas to the world and say, look how stupid this is. Apparently that's a fallacy, apparently that's wrong, apparently that doesn't always work. No, instead we should censor, we should fight people, we should hurt them, we shouldn't entertain their ideas, we should boycott them because that's a surefire way of letting them grow and fester and just anger more people, yeah. That'll make the world a freer place by basically stopping the free dispersal of information, yeah.
Don't go low, go high. Be better.
Are you aware of what you're actually saying? Are you actually aware of what you're saying? I don't think you are.
But why?
Well, it's simple, really. It helps your case. While the other person is being either, for example, the censorious, bullying, violent person with the horrible rhetoric, you, on the other hand, are the more softer spoken, the more reasoned, logical person who isn't censorious, who prefers to simply debate like a human being, and that makes you automatically look better than the person who is being a violent bully with terrible ideas. If you have good ideas and you're like that compared to the other person, you win. That makes other people who are not convinced go to your side because they see the ugliness of the other side because you're not censoring them, you're pointing out what's going on with them, what they're saying, what they're about. And they see you and what you're about, and you're completely different. Therefore, they are convinced. If you were just as bad, I doubt they would either choose both sides or they'd be forced to pick a side because both of you are so extreme. And ultimately, it's a toss of the coin. And that is actually, funnily enough, kind of like the US election.
Why should we be better? Just for the sake of being better?
It's not for the sake of being better. It's to win the debate. It's to win the argument. It's to do it the right and proper way. It's not for the sake of it. We don't do this for the sake of it. Again, are you aware of what you're saying?
Or because being better produces results. This philosophical Achilles heel is paralysing liberal democracy.
It does produce better results, being better than them, being the better person with the better ideas, and not being a censorious, violent bully like you lot are currently being. See, Mahatma Gandhi, MLK, hell, even Gamergate, for example. While the anti-Gamergate side, I hear you scoff already, were doxing, harassing people, censoring people, Gamergate were doing none of those things. They did it in a peaceful way, they did a peaceful revolt, and lo and behold, they had a lot of their objectives met. But whatever, apparently that doesn't always work, even though a lot of the great changes we have seen, in fact, probably 99% of them have come about through that way.
Would I encourage people to go around punching Nazis? No.
That's not what that sounds like. It sounds like you are saying you can do that. You are actually saying, yeah, if you can't debate these people, if you can't actually, have a reasoned debate with them and win, it's okay to go and punch them in the face, stoop to their level. That's what you've been saying. You've basically tried to say that, yeah, you can't do that with these people, just hit them. But now you're saying that you're not, when that's actually what you're insinuating throughout this whole video.
But I will also not condemn them for doing so.
So you either do condone it or you don't condone it, because you can't have it both. You can't have your cake and eat it too, love. But from this video, from what you've been saying, you do actually condone it, you're just not saying you condone it. So you basically not condemn the people on your side, those progressives who are assaulting people in the streets, because it's okay because those people are Nazis. So therefore you are willing to lose the debate as long as other people can go out and punch people. Right, okay, I get you.
The punch was a calling out after a time when too many things were not called out for what they really are.
No, the guy assaulted Richard Spencer because he was a humongous cunt who couldn't stand seeing Richard Spencer speak his mind. That's why he did it. He didn't do it because too many things weren't called out for what they really were. No, Trump had a lot of shit from the mainstream media. He had a lot from YouTubers. Thing is, when you progressives criticised him, all your arguments were wrong. You didn't call it as it was. You called it in the way that you wanted people to see it, which wasn't the truth. Hence the whole fake news bullshit that we currently have. Yeah, so that guy was basically assaulting him because of his skewed version of reality, and also didn't want to hear him talk.
Going high might make us feel good about being the better party, but it is not a suitable response.
Look, I'm not saying that violence is never an option. If you have to defend yourself, do it. If you've got a skinhead about to attack you with knuckle dusters, go ahead and shoot him or attack him, it's self-defense. But you're not advocating self-defense. You are actively seeking to attack these people violently. You're saying that you won't do it. You're saying that, oh no, I would never do such a thing. But you're using the high and the low thing as a euphemism for basically assaulting them. You think that Richard Spencer and his followers are the violent wing of that whole movement. That these are violent skinhead thugs, the new Nazi party, the new brown shirts, who will go around and bully people and harass people and attack people for being persons of colour, for being Jewish, when they're not the violent wing. Yes, they may hold certain views like that, but they're not actually violent. Where did Richard Spencer hit anybody or attack anybody when he was being interviewed and then got punched? He didn't provoke anybody. That's not defending his point of view, that's defending his right to say it. And by not being violent, by actually debating him, he loses. His arguments are not that strong, yet you are so bad at this point that a Nazi can beat you. You have to assault him, you have no argument. That's why you are promoting this bullshit. It has nothing to do with feeling better, about feeling morally superior. It is actually about trying to win the battle of ideas, and assaulting people and attacking people is not the way you go about things.
and it doesn't work.
I've already mentioned the examples of MLK and Gandhi. You don't know a thing about history. Let's move on, people.
Particularly now, while we face a clear assault on hard-won freedoms and equalities.
Well, Trump has already said that he's going to keep the Obama administration executive order on the LGBT community and how their rights will remain the same. So he's not actually taking away their freedoms and rights at the moment, is he? And so far, he's not really said anything about people of colour's rights either. In fact, did he actually say anything about taking their rights away? No, he didn't. Did he? Richard Spencer may believe in that bullshit, but he's a minority, a very small minority with not much power at all. But you're literally giving him the pathway to that power because you're assaulting him, you're attacking him, you're censoring him. People will want to know what's going on. And he can play the victim. He can say, look at these horrible people. You, for example. And people will believe him. Because like I said before, it doesn't matter if your ideas have to be good or not, but if you play the peaceful, more logical and reasoned role, people are more likely to listen to you rather than someone who just goes "ree" all the time, like the guy who punched him.
There is a narcissism of good behaviour that needs to be jettisoned.
So you heard, people, the left and by extension the right and the whole of humanity's tradition of peaceful protest is apparently narcissism. It should be gone, despite all the examples from the past and the recent past pointing to the contrary. She knows full well that these things actually do work, but she has to try and convince people that they don't work by not referencing history.
There is a complacency born out of a combination of shock, privilege and inertia.
So it's a complacency born out of privilege, shock and inertia. Right, I knew you had to try and shoehorn privilege in there some way. See, this is just a load of word salad that actually means nothing at all.
That make some think that keeping the dignity of liberalism intact will somehow shame bigots into behaving.
The reason why, up until recently, people like Richard Spencer couldn't get a foot in through the marketplaces of ideas was because of what you just described. These people were virtually nothing because we debated them into dust. We didn't actually need atomic bombs to deal with these particular Nazis, I'll have you know. Yes, people, I know Japan were attacked with the atomic bomb. Maybe fire bombs in Dresden would have been a more suitable metaphor, but come on, atomic bomb sounds better.
The alternative to all this futile, false equivalency debate is simply to call everything out and protest it.
You see, when you mean protest, you actually mean riot, but what we say when we mean protest is peaceful protest, where you have a sign and a banner and you chant, but you respect people's right to free speech. You let people speak. You don't try to shut the whole situation down. You let your voice be heard and you don't attack anybody. That's what MLK did. That's what Gandhi did. That's what Mandela did later on when he found out that the violent approach wouldn't actually work. That's what we mean by that.
Boycott it, march against it, and never let it settle.
So just business as usual, social justice warriors, censor everything. Okay, fair enough, I get it. Anyway, people, that's the end of the video. I wish this was fake, but it isn't. It's The Guardian espousing this bullshit. So until next time, this has been Charming Man 93. Like and share the video, subscribe to my channel, donate to my Patreon. And until next time, I'll see you all later.